Let's now shift our focus to the latest on ground in Sri Lanka, as the South Asian country is now finding a way out from its increasing economic as well as political crisis. The island nation reconvened its parliament earlier today, and all eyes will now be on the no-confidence motion, which will be tabled by the opposition against the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Yesterday, the main opposition, SJB, handed over a no-confidence motion against the President and another one against the Prime Minister to Parliament Speaker Mahinda Rajapaksa. Amid speculation on his resignation, the Prime Minister had dismissed the reports of his resignation as being false, maintaining that he will not resign from the premiership. Mahinda Rajapaksa has now spoken for the first time since President Gotabaya initiated the formation of a national government with coalition. Speaking to the Daily Mirror, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "I am confident of winning the motion. If the President tells me to go, I will leave immediately, but there has been no such request." Another crucial test for the government and the opposition is the election of a new deputy speaker. After the resignation of the former deputy speaker Ranjit Snowballing, a vote to select a new deputy speaker will now take place tomorrow. Snowballing has confirmed that his resignation from the post of deputy speaker has been accepted by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Meanwhile, the Sri Lankan Finance Minister Ali Sabri made a statement on the state of the economy in Parliament, where he highlighted the worst economic crisis that the country is currently facing. Remember, Colombo needs to pay $51 billion in external debt. Sabri expressed hopelessness in the resolution of the current crisis, as he said that it will take years to pull back from the crisis. He further suggested that it's up to the political leaders to either find a solution or drag it on for years. The country's finance minister also shred plans to replace its current unrealistic budget. Working in the same direction, the nation is in talks with the World Bank to extend its support by $300 million to $700 million. The island nation is critically short of foreign exchange and has sought an emergency bailout from the International Monetary Fund. Inflation and shortages of imported food, fuel and medicines have led to weeks of protests. Within the next 2 weeks, Sri Lanka will appoint financial and legal advisors for a proposed restructuring of its sovereign debt. For more details, joining us live on this broadcast is our correspondent Dasuni Athora from Colombo. Dasuni, thanks so much for joining us. My first question to you, what's the latest update that you have for us on the brewing political crisis? What's happening in Parliament and what lies ahead for the people of Sri Lanka?
Yes, Priyanka, when we started things off this morning, there were three key highlights that we were looking at. The first was the appointment of a new deputy speaker and the stance of the Prime Minister, whether he is to resign or to leave, and also the possibility of a no-confidence motion being tabled in Parliament. Now, out of these three key developments, we now know for sure that the vote for the new deputy speaker is set to take place tomorrow. And it is also, according to local newspaper outlets here, that Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has once again reiterated that he will not be resigning and that he himself is confident that he still secures the majority and the confidence of the House. Also, speaking of the no-confidence motion, the opposition today did not bring it up in Parliament, and it might be an indication that the no-confidence motion may have not yet garnered enough votes in the House for it to be tabled as well. And throughout the day, when we were monitoring this, something that we did notice is that the finance minister's statement did take center stage throughout the proceedings today, and both the government along with the opposition alike did commend the new Finance Minister Ali Sabri's honesty and transparency to really show how dire Sri Lanka's situation is right now, and for him to accept that this situation will not be getting better anytime soon and might possibly even take several years to remedy.
Right, that's when you're talking about the transparency of the finance minister and how open he was about how dire the crisis currently is in Sri Lanka. But the big question is there a roadmap for a way out of this economic crisis?
Based on what we saw during the parliamentary session so far, it was pretty much a repetition among the members of the House, speaking of how we got into this position and what must be looked at. Although parliamentarians, both from the opposition as well as the government, have been highlighting on certain aspects that we need to look at. The key of them being, once again, going back to the finance minister's speech, was that Sri Lanka definitely is looking at partner countries and ally countries for desperate needs of aid and support in terms of loans and credit lines, as well as support in purchasing medicinal food, medicines and food as well. So I think that is the immediate road plan right now, and the Bar Association of Sri Lanka has also proposed a roadmap for the current situation, which the Finance Minister once again highly commended and also requested that the discussion must be made. So it is all pretty much the same here throughout the parliamentary sessions here.
Right, Dasani, thanks so much for all those updates. Thanks for joining us on WION from the latest from Sri Lanka. WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.